Hi. In this video, we're going to go through the Getting Started guide for Teleport Machine and Workload Identity. Our objectives are to access a protected resource from a CI pipeline and to use an ephemeral identity for the pipeline that is created when the pipeline starts and expires when it ends, so that there's no long-lived static secrets to exfiltrate. It is more secure and it's more efficient for teams. The steps we're going to go through are to choose a resource to access. We're going to create a role, a bot, and a join token. And then we're going to access our resource from GitHub Actions. Everything that you can do in this guide is in an open source repository that is linked from the Getting Started guide documentation. I've forked that repository into my personal organization, and I've cloned it down so I can work with it. The first thing we need to do is create that role that allows us to access a resource that we've chosen. Everything we're doing in this guide is read-only. It's not destructive. It's not going to change anything. So you can pick any resource that you can grant access to. I'm going to pick this target 1 SSH server, and it has a label env mwi demo. In my role file, I'm just going to customize that label, but you could obviously make this label whatever you need to match your needs. I've already logged into my teleport cluster on my CLI, so all I need to do is run tctl create this file. This Getting Started guide supports both Kubernetes and SSH access flows. I'm going to go through the SSH access flow, but again, you can do either one when you go through the guide yourself. Now that I've created my role, I need to create my bot. It is very creatively named GitHub bot, and it is going to use the role that I just created earlier, GitHub bot as well, just to make it easy for you to track this through. We're going to come up here and just say, create that bot. Now that my bot has been created, the final thing I need to do is create a join token. A join token is like creating an SSO entry for your bot. Bots don't have passwords. They don't have physical biometrics they can use like a fingerprint, but we don't want them to have to use an API key or a password or some other static credential. So what we do is we identify them based off of metadata about the machine or process that they're running in. For GitHub, when a bot tries to authenticate from a GitHub Actions pipeline, Teleport reaches back out to GitHub's OIDC endpoint and confirms metadata about that pipeline. In this case, I want it to say that if it receives an authentication request from a bot running in my repository that I've forked, the developnik/mwi Getting Started guide, it should recognize that it is that bot that I just created, and then know that it should have that role that we created a moment ago. So I'm just going to create that join token once I've modified it to have my repository name here. All right, let's go make sure that that's all set up. I can come into roles, see my GitHub bot role exists, come into bots. Here's my bot with the correct role, and come into join tokens and see that it is there. It's all set up. Everything's looking good. Now that my teleport resources have been created, the thing I need to do is shift my focus to the actual action itself. Again, I'm going to come through the server workflow. So let's see what the server workflow does. Our first step is we check out the repository. The second is we use this convenience action that Teleport publishes called setup, and it basically just installs the binaries you're going to need into your action. What I do need to do is customize the proxy address with my actual cluster. We've got the version set to auto so that it'll just pull the correct version from your cluster, and you don't need to keep up maintenance on your action and constantly track it with however your upgrades go for Teleport. The next thing that runs is tbot start in one-shot mode against this configuration file. One-shot mode lets tbot start, output whatever identity files it needs to, and then end, so you're not dealing with some long-lived process running in your CI. Let's look at the config file. Again, I need to customize the proxy server to be my cluster address. We're using the GitHub join method with that token that we used just created a moment ago. And I'm having an output and SSH identity set of files into this .ssh out directory. Back in my action, I have ssh-f using that SSH config that it's going to output. The last thing I need to do is customize the address of the server I want to run against, which I'm going to go as the Ubuntu user. Again, if we look at the role I created earlier, we see that I allow the Ubuntu login. Again, not allowing root or doing anything destructive potentially here. And I'm just running the command mpstat. So we're just going to grab some resource usage information out of the server. Final thing I'm going to do is just add all these changes. Say customized to run. You can see I'm on a new branch here. I'm not on main just so that I'm not working against main. If you fork it, you're welcome to work against main. And I'm going to commit and push. That should be up. Let's come back to my, there we go, we just pushed. So the final thing I'm going to do is run the workflow. Again, I configured these workflows for you to be on dispatch, so you get to run them when you want to. I'm going to come to actions, come to the correct workflow for server for me. I'm going to use this new branch that I've just pushed, and I'm going to hit run workflow. Here we go. And let's go check on the progress. It checked out the repository. It's fetching the binaries, exporting the configuration, and mpstat is run against my server. It's pretty idle. Optionally, you can come back into your cluster, and the advantage of all of these actions is that all of the same that you get for humans within Teleport. We can see certificates being issued, identities being confirmed, actions being taken. In this case, we'll even get the commands run through that SSH command. They'll probably come through in a moment. But that's machine and workload identity in a few minutes. It's pretty easy. Come check out the Getting Started guide, give it a shot for yourself, and thank you for watching.